The sun hung low over the desolate, flat plains of Texas, casting long shadows over the cracked earth. It was the summer of 1974, a time when gas stations were sparse and small towns seemed to vanish into the horizon. 5 friends, Sally Hardesty, her paraplegic brother Franklin, and their friends Jerry, Kirk, and Pam, were on a road trip in a battered old van. They were heading to a remote area in rural Texas, drawn by rumors of vandalized graves, including that of Sally and Franklin's grandfather. Their journey took them deep into the Texas countryside, where the asphalt gave way to dusty backroads. The air was stifling, the heat oppressive. As they traveled further into isolation, the group's excitement turned to unease. With their gas tank running low, they pulled into a rundown gas station. The station, barely functional, was manned by a grizzled old man with unsettlingly cold eyes. He leaned against the counter, chewing tobacco, and watched them silently for a long moment before speaking. "Where y'all headed?" he finally asked, his voice rough and gravelly. "We're looking for the old Hardesty house," Franklin replied. The old man smirked, his lips curling around his tobacco. "That place ain't safe. You kids should turn back. Folks out here don't take kindly to strangers." The group laughed nervously, brushing off his cryptic warning. They refueled and continued their journey. The old man watched them leave, his grin fading into a grim expression. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the group reached their destination, a dilapidated farmhouse standing alone in a field overrun with weeds. The house looked as though it had been forgotten by time, its wood rotting and its windows dark. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the scent of decay. Dust covered every surface, and faint scratches marred the floorboards. Franklin, too curious, for his own good, began telling ghost stories about the house's dark history. While exploring, Kirk spotted a nearby house through the trees. Thinking they could ask for gas, he and Pam decided to investigate. The house Kirk and Pam approached was strange even by the countryside standards. Bone wind chimes dangled from the porch, and animal hides hung from the walls. Kirk knocked, but no one answered. The door creaked open, revealing a shadowy interior. Kirk stepped inside and called out, his voice echoing in the eerie silence. As he ventured further, he stumbled upon a massive figure, a hulking man wearing a mask stitched from human skin. Before Kirk could react, the man raised a sledgehammer and struck. Kirk's body hit the floor with a sickening thud, and Leatherface dragged him into the darkness. Pam, waiting outside, grew impatient and entered the house. Her screams filled the air when she discovered a room filled with grotesque furniture, chairs made of bones, skulls mounted on the walls. As she tried to flee, Leatherface caught her, carrying her struggling body into the back room. As night fell, the others grew worried and went looking for their friends. Jerry was next to enter the house, only to meet the same fate as Kirk and Pam. The sound of a chainsaw revving echoed through the fields, sending shivers down Sally and Franklin's spines. In a panic, the siblings tried to flee in their van, but the engine sputtered and died. Leatherface emerged from the shadows, his chainsaw roaring to life. Franklin, unable to escape due to his wheelchair, was caught and killed in a brutal flurry of noise and blood. Sally, screaming, ran into the darkness. With Leatherface close behind, Sally stumbled through the woods, her body battered and bruised. She reached the gas station hoping for help, but the old man from earlier revealed himself as an accomplice. He subdued her and took her back to the house, where a horrifying family awaited. Leatherface, the old man, and a skeletal figure referred to as Grandpa. The family subjected Sally to a terrifying dinner, filled with grotesque mockery and violence. When they tried to force Grandpa to kill her, Sally broke free, smashing through a window and fleeing into the night. Leatherface pursued her, his chainsaw screaming in the darkness. As dawn broke, Sally reached a passing truck. Covered in blood and shaking with terror, she climbed aboard and escaped. The truck drove away, leaving Leatherface standing in the middle of the road, swinging his chainsaw in a macabre dance of frustration. Sally's laughter turned to sobs as she realized she had survived, but at the cost of her sanity. The Texas countryside returned to silence, the horrors of that night buried under the vast, unyielding expanse of land. Yet the memory of Leatherface and his chainsaw would haunt Sally and the world forever. This content may violate our usage policies. Did we get it wrong? Please tell us by giving this response a thumbs down.